welcome to Vegas Live with Ninon. Well, I don't know how these weeks, but they just fly by. It's like I was here yesterday, but I was here a week ago. We have an incredible group today. We have the guests are absolutely amazing. And of course, my first guest is Dennis Van. As you know, I don't pre-interview, so I never know what's going to happen or what's going to. How are you, Dennis?
Pardon me?
How are you?
Everything's wonderful.
We were just having a lovely conversation, and I just met his fiancée. And she is gorgeous, and I told her to sort of kind of get out the way and let me move in, but that's not going to happen. I can just show you with the look on his face. Now, you said this is the first person that you've ever got engaged to or even thinking about getting married.
First time, yes.
First time. That's amazing. Well, how did you manage? I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how you escaped this. How did you escape getting married? I mean, it's a pretty tricky
I was
thing.
very dedicated to my parents, and I think that had a lot to do with things.
You loved your mom, didn't you?
Of course.
You know that one of the greatest things about men is if they love their mother, you know you have a good man. If a man takes care of the son takes care of the mother, you know he's very good. Now, Dennis, you're in the sports arena.
Yes.
Well, look, isn't he gorgeous? He's all dressed up and lovely. What part of the sports arena? Outside?
I do sports betting, and
You're gambling.
yes,
We're in your right place to gamble in Las Vegas.
absolutely. That was one of the reasons why I moved here.
And how long have you been here?
6 years.
Oh, not that long.
No.
Where from?
Chicago area.
Oh, I love Chicago. Oh, I love it. What is it called? Hawthorne Racetrack.
Yes.
You probably know it well.
Absolutely.
Do you know the family? Do you know Susan?
The Carries.
The Carey
yes,
family? They're very good
absolutely.
friends of mine. Tom?
They're,
How's Tom, by the way?
That I don't know. Years ago, when I worked in the restaurant business in Chicago, back in the 70s and 80s, I was a bartender at Arnie Morton's restaurant,
Sure, I know Arnie
and
Morton's,
Mrs. Carrie Sue was
yeah.
part of the ladies at lunch, and they used to come in.
Oh, a big group of them.
Yes, once a week for
And they
lunch.
were all dressed so well. They all
Yes.
had the diamonds on and the dresses and everything. And each one was louder than the next, but they were all good-looking women.
And very nice.
And very nice, always
Yes.
very polite. Yeah, Sue's English,
Yes.
so she's a good friend of mine, of course, you know.
Yes, they're going to be developing a casino there
Oh, really?
at Hawthorne.
And Hawthorne's going to turn into a casino?
Correct.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes.
Because I think that's the biggest privately owned racetrack, or was. Obviously, it's not now anymore, but it was the biggest privately owned one.
It's very it's
Apart
very
from Santa
large.
Anita, yeah.
Yes.
So now you're in the sports business and you do announcing and not announcing, more of the gambling side of
Yes.
it. So where do you do the gambling side of it? On the internet or?
Yes. The best way for someone who's a sports bettor
Yeah.
is to do it via the apps. Every casino has their own app,
Okay.
and what you do is you open an account with your ID, you set up your private code,
Mm-hmm.
and then you fund the account with your money, and then from your own phone you can make your bets.
Like the stock exchange.
Yes,
Because you have the same thing. You have to put your money in. You know, you put your money in, and then you can gamble up as much as you put in there. So
correct.
you can limit yourself. What's the smallest amount you can put in?
I believe $5 or $10 at
That's
most.
small. I was
most
asking
of the
that for a
places.
reason because I know a lot of our younger generation are gambling now, and they put small amounts in, and then they sort of, you know,
Yes.
they place bets and everything else. So they can do that now as well as doing the stock market.
Well, that's been I think that's a good thing for people that are getting involved in sports betting, because it stops you from overextending yourself. If
Yes.
you don't have the money in there, you can't
You
make
can't
a
bet, and I think that's a brilliant idea. Yes.
It changed my life. That's one of the things that made me successful was establishing a bankroll and only betting
A certain amount.
about 1% of that bankroll.
Now, what about credit cards? Can you put a credit card in there, or does it have to be hard cash? Because your
I
credit
be-
card is to the limit.
I believe in Nevada, you have to fund it with cash, but I believe in many of the other states that are getting involved in sports betting now that you could do it via credit
I
card.
was asking that for a reason, because if you're making a bet and then you don't have enough money in the account, but if you call them up or you get your credit card in there and say, I want to put another 200 into my account so that I can bet it, how long does it take for that to activate? Probably a little while.
I couldn't tell you because I've never done it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. So maybe this is something you might want to do.
No, I like it the way I'm doing it.
Now, so you've only been, how long have you been doing this? Were you doing it in Chicago?
Yes, but you have to do it illegally. And one of the things was I was getting backed off or limited the amounts I could bet.
Yeah.
I was getting paid slowly. There were times, meet me at midnight at someplace, and I started to feel uncomfortable.
Of course.
And it was just time, because I had the money set aside, and I didn't want to have a normal job anymore in the restaurant business that I always had.
No, were you running restaurants? Or?
Yes.
You were the
Yes. I worked for 3 different casinos in the Chicago area. However, I did work in the restaurant part, not in the gaming part.
Yeah. So have you always, did you start this because you're a gambler, or are you a gambler?
Yes.
Yes, so did you start it because you thought this was a great idea that people could now do this on their phones and be anywhere?
I have been betting on sports for 35 years.
He doesn't look old enough. He started.
Thank you. I've been betting on sports for 35 years, but I was winning and losing. Always had a job.
Yeah.
I never
to cover the bets.
Correct. But then, about 15, 20 years ago, I finally wised up, and I set aside that money, and I developed discipline.
Within yourself?
Yes, and I have season tickets for the Golden Knights. I love to go to the games. Sandra and I go to the games. However, if I don't have a reason to bet on that game, I will bet on it because I'm going to attend.
You're going to attend.
But I only bet $25 or $50.
Oh wow, that's nothing.
Small.
That's a very small. But it does give you an interest.
Correct.
It's not really how much you win; it's having the interest in it of can I beat them, or can the obviously you're going to be betting for the Raiders, right?
We went to the game a couple weeks ago, and yes, we did. I did bet on the Raiders.
Didn't they win? They won, didn't they?
That game, but they did not cover the point spread.
Oh.
They won by 3 points, and the point spread was 3.5 points.
Oh, see, now this is going out of my league a little bit. Now, I notice we have a book here, and it's called Sports Betting for Winners. Well, we all want to be a winner, don't we?
The gentleman that wrote that book, Rob, he's written 2 articles on me in the Chicago Sun-Times. He has a weekly column every Saturday in the Chicago Sun-Times. He also wrote about me in Gaming Today magazine, and then he wrote this book.
And obviously you're in it.
I'm featured in chapters 1 and 3.
Okay, isn't that wonderful? So you're promoting it for him and for yourself. So don't forget to buy this book, because we all want to be winners. I know we lose. Of course we lose. We have to lose so we can make the next bet to win.
Well, I'm trying to help people with that aspect. On my website, vslasvegas.com, I'm giving out until April 1st of next year all of the plays and bets and picks that I make for free. All the person has to do is go to the website, and they can sign up. vslasvegas.com, and they can sign up and get my picks for free sent to them via email.
Incredible. So, do you write a column of all the things and all the picks and everything else? So
well, I have years and years. I have 20 years worth of
office with
journals. These are 99-cent ones that I get at Walmart.
Have a look at this.
But I have.
Oh, look at this in here. Now, I know a little bit about what he's doing here. Look at this. Look at all this. This is all your writing.
Yes. And I
You
do
are.
it.
I think he's dedicated. I think Dennis is definitely dedicated to what he does. Holy shoot! How well did you do in school?
Here's the great part.
It's just
I finished in only the 32nd percentile at my high school. However, when I took the ACT test, I got a 27. So
you tell me. Look
maybe
at
everybody else was real smart at my school.
Look at all the. I've never seen anything like it. Now this was obviously before computers. Or do you still do this?
I still do it this way.
Talk about old-fashioned.
Yes,
But
there's a fellow that I'm friends with. Some of you here in Las Vegas may know him, John D. Domenico. He's a great Trump impersonator and comedian. And John and I were discussing when John writes his jokes, he writes them by hand.
Yes.
I do all my stuff by hand. And things and patterns seem to pop off the page when I see it in my own handwriting versus looking at it on a computer
the
screen.
old school, and this is old school, they've always said, write it down. Everything, and I see we go to some of these meetings and women are writing everything down. I'm thinking, does this really mean anything? But what you just said does mean something. Because when you write it down, it's actually there, and you said it pops out. Because you remember the moments. Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
And it's funny how it's still the old school. Whereas on the internet and on a computer, it's just all tap, 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 and then you throw it away.
There's a thing now where people will put in various statistics about the teams. I don't know what all they put in. They press a button. They run the game via the computer 10,000 times or 100,000 times, and then see what the results would be.
Oh, really?
Oh, this team should win 60% of the time if the point spread is thus.
Yeah.
I have checked that out, and I even have kept track of what they do for a couple of years
Just
in
to see if
various
it works,
sports.
right?
And I couldn't, they weren't consistent enough for me.
No.
And I just say, I'm going to stick
do
with
it the
what
old
I
way.
do.
Let me do it my way.
Yes, and another thing that I've learned with doing this is I walk almost every day for about an hour. No headset, no nothing.
Clear your mind.
It clears my mind, and you can't believe how many of the things that I use in the sports betting popped into my head that way. I'll come home and I say, I'm going to go back over this stuff because I have almost 20 years worth of these journals.
So how long is a journal? 6 months, a year?
No, this one, it goes 2011 to 2012. And it has...
Well, that's like a year.
Yeah.
So each journal is like a year of work of not
NBA,
every day.
NHL. Those sports do play
every day.
almost every day.
I was thinking Sunday they don't play, but they do play.
Yeah.
Every day. Sunday used to be the day of rest, but it's still,
Not anymore.
Oh no, it still is the day of rest. I still call it the day of rest, but you can do whatever you want. If you want to work, work. Whatever you want to do, that is kind of your day.
Yes.
So if you choose to work, what can you do? But you look very, very happy, and you look like sort of, this is really your gift. Do you think it's your gift?
I enjoy it, and it's taken me a little while to get to it. But I have to say, I really have fun with it. I'm proud of what I've been able to achieve, as well as, there's a lot of people that do what I do. Most of them are not truth tellers. They're more marketers. And
we know who they are.
I just leave it at that. And what they
do your own thing.
is great.
Yeah.
I do what I do.
Absolutely.
And again, they can continue and just do
Dennis
what
Van
they
has
wish.
been absolutely amazing because we've kind of got into something I've never really talked about. But gambling, yes, I know. My husband gambled. We went to Santa Anita Racetrack all the time. We went to Hollywood Park all the time. We went down to Del Mar all the time. So I know all the tracks, unfortunately. I probably know all the casinos because we used to stay at the Caesars or all the casinos. So I'm with you. with what you do. And I admire what you do because it does take, it's still a job, it's still work, and it's still hard. Give them where they can find you, your address, not your address, but your website
Correct.
address.
My company name is Van Sports, and it's vslasvegas.com. Thank you.
Oh, no, amazing. We've just learned something about gambling, which we always want to learn actually in Vegas, because that's what we do here. I also want to give a shout out to the Art House theaters. They also have a 20% discount on their restaurant, so I presume that's still alive, that's still going. Is that still going? The 20% off is still going, it's still up. Okay, fabulous. And I also want to give a shout out to the social media shows, which is my dear good friend who's my producer. And we will be right back with our next guest. You've been absolutely amazing. Thank you for watching. We will return.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Amazing. Thank you.